The crucial meeting with the Auditor-General, the Attorney-General, and the Chief Justice to deliberate on how to fast-track the prosecution of individuals who misapply public funds. Also, this bulletin, government releases some 130 million cedis to facilitate work on the La General Hospital. We're live to the project site where the Health Minister, Mintah Akando, is currently on tour. Later on the show, we touch base with our reporters for the very latest on the ongoing nationwide HPV vaccination drive. This is the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. My name is Grace HAMMOAH. Stay with us. Many thanks for joining us. Let's get into the detail now. President John Dramani Mahama is expected to meet with the Chief Justice, the Attorney General, and other key stakeholders today to discuss what he describes as a final solution to the recurring mismanagement of public funds highlighted in the Auditor General's annual report. Over the years, the Auditor General's findings have been replete with cases of financial irregularities and misappropriation of public funds, with some estimates putting the losses in billions of Ghana cedis. Speaking at the 12th Annual Conference of Chairpersons of Governing Boards and Councils, Chief Directors and Chief Executive Officers organized by the Public Services Commission, President Mahama expressed concern over the situation. He stressed the need to curb the persistent drain on the public purse by public officials and to ensure the swift prosecution of individuals implicated in such report. Before we hear the president, let's look at reported irregularities in the past 7 years. Now, Auditor-General reported total irregularities by year, recoverable and administrative irregularities in 2018, 3,007,259,942. 2019, over 5 billion in excess of 468,398,431. 2020, 12,856,172 and 626. In 2021, 17 billion Ghana cedis, 483,488,538. When we go to 2020, the figure comes down to 15,509,441 and 806 Ghana cedis. 2023, it goes down to 8,799,263,120. And then in 2024, it is 18 billion Ghana cedis, 406,673,589. So these are the staggering figures on how much the country is losing when it comes to irregularities from the reports of the Auditor General. We can now listen to the president on the reports.
And so I have a meeting on Thursday with the Chief Justice, the Attorney General, and others to find a final solution to this Auditor General's report, that persons who are found guilty of infractions or do not follow due procedure or lead to loss of public resources, we must have a fast-track process to Nsawam. Fast track before you see you in Nsawam, 6 months. Until we do that, until there's a deterrent, we're going to come every year and they say total misappropriation and infractions of found out by the Auditor General is about 15 billion cedis. I mean, if we save 15 billion cedis, can you imagine what it could do?
President Mahama. Meanwhile, the Auditor General Johnson HAMMOAH has been speaking to Presidential Affairs Correspondent Komla Kluche about the expected meeting and the concerns about misapplication of public funds. Well, we'll bring you that video subsequently, but if you're joining us on Facebook, you can see that on the display on our screens. The Auditor General speaking to my colleague Komla Kluche on what this meeting is going to be about and the various areas or topics they'll be discussing with the president, as well as why it has become very pertinent or important for that meeting. Let's listen to the Auditor General now.
It's not even direct to the president. Our reports go to the PAC. And We also send copies to the entities that are concerned. It's been a challenge for a long time. It's been a challenge for a long time. And I think the president has stepped in, as the head of state, just to take action. Instead of just talking. Now, I believe that he wants action taken, not just writing the report and then the following year you go and write the same report. So I think it's a right decision.
What format is this meeting likely to take between the president, yourself, the AG, and the Chief Justice?
I will not know the whole content because the convener is His Excellency, the President. But what I know is that we want to find a lasting solution to this annual canker. Every year we produce, no action is taken. But I believe that the President is desirous of bringing this canker to an end.
And when is the meeting scheduled? Has his office reached out to you yet? And when that meeting will be?
I'm told that the meeting will be on the 20th. On the 20th of this month.
Okay, all right. To the extent that the president said, there should be some expedited action with respect to the journey to Insawam with people who have had these infractions. What's your take on that?
No, our laws establish the punishment for every offense. And looking at what people are saying, the thing that we are seeing, if you have stolen state money, I believe there are in a lot of laws that will determine where you go from there. And one of the destinations is Insawam, as His Excellency mentioned. We must deter people from even having the appetite to steal.
Okay.
And I think now, if I always call something like the tune at the top. Now the tune is set from the top. There will be no escape for anyone who misbehaves. I strongly support the president's stance.
Okay.
Not even
Auditor-General Johnson HAMMOAH Siedu in that interaction with our presidential affairs correspondent Komla Kluche. He tells us that anticipated meeting between the president, his office, and other agencies will happen on the 20th of October this year, which is like some 10 or 9 days away. We'll definitely bring you details on what the meeting is about, as well as the resolutions or recommendations that will come out from that meeting. Let's move away from that and go to another topical issues, because authorities at the Central Regional Directorates of the Ghana Health Service have expressed concern over the attitude of some parents who prevent their wards from being vaccinated whenever the service rolls out immunization programs. According to the Central Regional Director of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Alberta Brichum-Nyakon, the growing resistance from some parents, particularly those whose children attend private basic schools, is worrying. She urged such parents to desist from the practice and allow their children to be vaccinated to protect them from preventable diseases. Cervical cancer remains one of the leading causes of death among women in Ghana, claiming the lives of about 2,000 mothers and girls every year. Dr. Nyakon made the observation during the launch of the HPV vaccination campaign, which is targeting more than 200,000 girls between age 9 and 14 across the central region. My colleague Thomas Khan Aman in the region joins us on the line for more. Thomas, talk to us more about the problem of vaccination hesitancy in the central region and why this has become a major concern for health authorities.
Well, according to the Central Regional Directorate of the Ghana Health Service, this is something that has been a trend for some time now. According to them, anytime they roll out a vaccination exercise, most of the problems they encounter is with private basic schools, where the proprietors and heads of these schools tell them that they have to secure permission from the parents of these children before they are allowed to be vaccinated. There have been many times they go to some of these schools to get the vaccination done, but they go there and then they have to return to their offices or their places because the children there tell them that their parents have not given them their permission to be vaccinated. And this is something that is worrying. And the Central Regional Directorate is really worried about this, and they want that trend to end, especially with this survivor cancer
vaccination issue. Let's listen to the director.
That government has taken up the cost to ensure that we make it available for the people in the country. It is most effective for people who are sex naive. That is why we are targeting children or girls aged 9 to 14 years. So we encourage everyone to bring their children to vaccination centers and get them vaccinated so that we can assure them of a future free of cervical cancer. It's a vaccine that we have been using over the years, but because of the cost, people were buying it as and when they could afford it. But right now it is free because government has picked up the cost. It's a safe vaccine, and therefore people should not be afraid to go and take advantage of this opportunity to get their girls, their children, their nieces vaccinated.
Right, let's go to the Ashanti region now. My colleague Ibrahim Abubakar is also joining me. Ibrahim, farmers from the Central region tells us that there's some form of hesitancy with the parents. Is the story the same in the Ashanti region?
Well, Grace, it's not different here, just that for now, the health authorities and also the teachers have tried as much as possible to engage most of the parents and get them have a change of mind. Yesterday when the exercise started, apparently most parents were unaware that the head teachers have not informed the parents, and also there were aspects of misconception about the vaccination. Apparently, most parents are also hearing about this vaccination for the first time, and they thought that their kids are being used as a test case, and for that matter, they came in strongly to resist. But after a thorough engagement with some of them, some have agreed to allow their wards to take the vaccines. Others have also not done that. But the health authorities say they are pushing, they are still engaging, and they are giving them that assurance that this is not even the first time we are having this kind of vaccination in the country. 2013, a piloting was done. 2015, similar was done. And this is the time for a national or nationwide rollout. And for that matter, this is something that has been tried and tested, and their children will be safe. So those are the engagement for Ashanti region. They are expecting to vaccinate around 400,000 within the 3 days, but they are even consideration of extending the date, because yesterday it rained a lot here and most schools couldn't have the chance to do it. So they are looking at all these options. But I engaged with the Ashanti Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Fred Adumaku-Boateng, who has also been giving assurance to parents with regards to the vaccination. Let's listen to him.
This is not the first time we are giving this vaccine in the country. A lot of people don't know. People go for it privately. It's available in some private facilities and around that people go and pay money and do. It doesn't cause infertility. It doesn't alter their sexual behavior. So we want to use this platform to allay the fears of all, genuine fears and concerns of all the parents, guardians, and the citizens, that these vaccines are safe, they have been tried and tested.
That was the Ashanti Regional Director of Health Services, Dr. Fred Adumaku-Boateng. Earlier, you heard my colleague in the Ashanti region, Ibrahim Abubakar. So let's stay a bit more on this story and speak to the PTA, which is the General Secretary of the National Council of the Parent Teachers Association, Raphael Kofi Gabson. He joins us on the line. Mr. Gabson, thank you for joining us. What is your general reaction to the concerns raised by the Central Regional Health Directorate regarding some parents refusing to allow their children to be vaccinated? They tell us that it is safe, it has no health implications, as been banded around.
Thank you very much, and then good afternoon to you, and good afternoon to your cherished listeners and then viewers. First of all, let me commend the Ghana Health Service and then the government through the Ministry of Health for being very proactive in engaging all stakeholders to ensure that we effectively collaborate and partner to make sure that this national exercise, which is the national interest, and also to secure the safety the welfare, the health well-being of our ward. They engage all of us, and we think that parents should not panic. This is not the first time that national exercises have been done over the years. And when something comes up and then there's a need to deal with it, they do the necessary stakeholder collaboration. And this which is scheduled to take place from Tuesday and ends this coming Saturday, within the age of 9 to 14 years for girls, I just think that it is in the good interest to make sure that we all, as parents, come on board and allow this exercise to go on smoothly, because all the protocols and all the measures to make sure that it will not have any health implications on them have actually been satisfied, and we think that we are okay with it. And we want parents across the country, we are pleading with them, and also our school-based PTA chairman and executives, and then at all the levels, at the pre-tertiary level, to come on board and then strengthen the collaboration and then help in the advocacy and then the education, the sensitization, to make sure that this program sees the light of the day. At the end of the day, our children benefit from it, and then preventing them from cervical cancer, and safeguarding their well-being of the adolescent girl.
You have early told us that the PTA was consulted before the rollout. What do we see the PTA do in the subsequent days to ensure that parents present their children for the vaccination?
You know, ideally, if they had held PTA meetings, we had communicated that they should try and hold PTA meetings and added. But every school has its own program. So the way this program has come, we might not get all schools across the country holding meetings on this thing. But we know for sure that as we are also communicating using your platform, those in Central Region and other parts across the country will take note of this important directive and comply and then work alongside with them. And then some centers are also in the schools. One of the schools is one of the focal points.
Yes.
And definitely the heads, the school management will definitely communicate to these students to inform their parents that this exercise is ongoing. It's our duty to also reach out to parents to collaborate in terms of this kind of engagement.
Right.
And we are using this platform to assure parents across the country that this is not the first time that this kind of exercise has ever happened. Definitely, any exercise that people will have their own myths and misconceptions about it.
Okay.
At the end of the day, government means well. We all mean well for the welfare of our children, and we are sure that nothing untoward will happen. It will only come on board and allow the exercise to go on in the supreme interest of our children and then for their future prosperity.
All right, Mr. Gapsing, thank you for talking to us. Raphael Gapsing is the General Secretary of the National Council of the Parent Teachers Association, and the call is that parents submit or present your children for the vaccination, for the HPV vaccination, because it is safe, it has no health implications, to rather protect your children. This is the Midday News on 3FM 92.7. My name is Grace HAMMOAH, and we are back after this break. Don't go away.
Hello, Ghana. It's a new year.
If you live around La and its adjoining communities, then this is good news for you, because government has made available 130 million cedis to enable the reconstruction of the La General Hospital to continue. The reconstruction of the La General Hospital has lingered since 2020 after the old facility was demolished. After more than 3 years, construction started last year with an October 2024 timeline without a dedicated source of funding. This was announced when the Minister of Health, Mintah Akando, paid a working visit to the site. The minister was accompanied by the MP for the area, Rita Odolesoa, the MCE, and some officials from the ministry. Let's listen to the minister.
And so in 2025 budget, we made an allocation of 130 million Ghana cedis for this project. My records indicate that out of the 50 million euros, about 7 million euros has been paid, which means that we have about 43 million euros more to pay before the completion of this project. Your guess is as good as mine. And the second IPC has been raised. As I indicated during my first submission, we have forwarded them to the Ministry of Finance. We've done some follow-ups with the Member of Parliament, myself. The last time I did a follow-up was yesterday. I engaged the Minister for Finance, and the Minister of Finance is committed into ensuring that funds are released for this project to progress.
Health Minister Mintah Akando there. Let's go on the line and speak to our reporter on the site, Sarah Apenkro. Sarah, talk to us about this tour by the minister as well as the allocation of the funds, what it means to the reconstruction of this project.
Well, Grace rightly said today, the minister as well as the MP for the area and the MC have been at the site where I am currently standing as I speak to you. He's assured the people that the construction will begin. The contractor will be coming back to the site to ensure the work is done with the commitment government is making with the 130 million cedis. Indeed, I have sought to speak to the contractor to find out how soon he will be returning to the site following the minister's commitment. And he tells me if all things being equal, in a few weeks' time, he should come back if the money drops and he's able to buy the materials they need to come back to site. So I've also gone around to engage with some residents, and they are very happy that the minister have been able to come to site to show his commitment for work to commence on the project. They are only hoping that the promises and assurances that have been made by government through the minister would be fulfilled to the latter, so that they have the hospital completed in the 2-year deadline that have been given by the minister today.
All right, Sarah, thank you for those updates. My colleague Sarah Apenkro updating us on the tour by the health minister at the General Hospital. And the news is that government has made available some 130 million cedis to enable the reconstruction of the General Hospital to continue. Away from that, the prime suspects in the murder of Assistant Inspector Stephen King HAMMOAH of the Ghana Immigration Service are expected to reappear before the Adabraka District Court today. Stephen King HAMMOAH, 38, was reported missing on July 3, 2025 after leaving home to meet a friend at Ashomang Estate. His charred body was later discovered on July 9 at Aboom Junction near Kwabenya, sparking a manhunt and an intensive police investigation. We'll bring you a lot more on how proceedings went today and whether the case is coming to an end anytime soon. Let's do a lot more stories, something that is a bit worrying because modern slavery has risen sharply, up by 10 million in just 5 years, stacking the number to 50 million people worldwide. Pressure is mounting on government to act as 91,000 Ghanaians are trapped in modern slavery, mainly through human trafficking, forced labor and forced marriages. Here's a report by Beatrice Ajoko Soa.
Out of the 50 million victims worldwide, 22 million are in forced marriages, with 12 million children making up the most vulnerable. The 2023 Global Slavery Index report highlights the industries where modern slavery is most prevalent: fishing, gold mining, cocoa farming, commercial sex work, domestic labor, and street begging. At the Faith in Action Modern Slavery Conference, Director of Operations at Walk Free, Catherine Bryan, urged governments to enforce penalties against perpetrators of forced marriage.
In Ghana and across Africa, we see that exploitation takes many forms. We see in some countries girls as young as 9 being forced to marry. Across some countries, there is no legal age of marriage, and that leaves there is a loophole in the legislation. Governments, businesses, NGOs, faith leaders, they all have a role to play to tackle modern slavery.
Head of the Global Freedom Network, Franca Pellegrini, called on governments, religious leaders, and civil society organizations to unite in the fight against modern slavery.
Collaboration is non-negotiable. No single faith, organisation or government can end slavery alone. Interfaith solidarity, cross-sector partnerships and survivor leadership are essential. Faith leaders, let your pulpit be a platform for freedom. Civil society, continue to innovate and reach the margins. Survivors, your leadership is essential.
Spokesperson for the Chief Imam, Sheikh Arimiyao Shaibu, emphasized the need to challenge cultural beliefs and practices that influence modern slavery.
Beatrice Ajako SOS reports there. To other stories, the Center for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR, says there's poor public awareness on environmental sustainability, thereby fueling non-compliance to issues of climate change. Principal investigator of the For Agroecology and Circular Economy for Ecosystem Services project in Africa, Dr. Kwekwa Sante, said the development is troubling. He made a call at a workshop for journalists in Accra.
We actually have seen that if the public are well informed, they can take the needed action. Unfortunately, when you go down to the community level and to interact with people, you notice that there's not so much information in the environmental sustainability space. And to bridge this gap, we brought media practitioners together to highlight the topics under agroecology, circular economy, climate action, ecosystem services.
Meanwhile, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana wants issues of illegal mining to be addressed immediately since it's impacting on crop yield. Abraham Linquist, the head of IT and communication at the association, said the chiefs who are custodians of the land have a role to play in curbing the menace.
Yeah, because now our land has been destroyed. Look at Shama, all right? They produce a lot of rice over there. But because of the river, which has been polluted, now the system, they cannot produce anymore. The production has totally reduced just because the water system and everything has been destroyed over there.
Abraham Linquist, head of IT and communications at the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana. Before we go, the chief executive of the Environmental Protection Agency has urged the public to see safety of the environment as a shared responsibility. Speaking on heightened pollution of water bodies and forest reserves, Professor Nanama Kluche noted that government are taking several steps to check the menace, including the deployment of water guards and other security apparatus to fight galamsey. According to Professor Nanama Brown Kluche, the environment can be well protected if Ghanaians desist from causing unnecessary distraction and securing permits for any activity that compromises the environment.
Every Ghanaian is our proponent. Every Ghanaian is our client and customer, because everyone's activity has impact on the environment. If you are not sure, go to the nearest EPA office to check what kind of permit you need for your operation. But we know for sure that every activity everyone is undertaking, if it's not affecting the air, it may be affecting water, the land, or the space in which we live in. So check with the EPA if you need a permit for your operation. Otherwise, we visit you and also deal with you in an appropriate way by law.
Professor Nanama Brown Kluche is the Chief Executive Officer of the Environmental Protection Agency. And that will be all by way of the Midday News on 3FM 92.7, which came to you live from our studios here at Adesawe Kanda, Accra. My name is Grace HAMMOAH Ajuman. Log on to 3news.com and get some more stories. Also, join us in our subsequent bulletins for a lot more. Good afternoon.